Hey there everyone, Zion over here from Nintendo Life. So a few weeks back, our man Felix went hands-on with Elden Ring on Switch 2, and he came back to us with quite a nervous feeling. He went on to say that he noticed a lot of frame drops during his demo. It started him out at the early part of the game and let him explore Limgrave. Now, unfortunately, during his demo at Gamescom, he wasn't allowed to film the game at all. No direct feed, no over-the-shoulder capture, nothing. But I was just at PAX West, and Bandai Namco let me play a new build of Elden Ring running on Switch 2, and this time they did let us film. It's worth mentioning that what I played still isn't the final build of the game, so things can still change before the game launches this winter. Now, I've only played around 10 to 15 hours of Bloodborne. I've never played another Souls game, so unfortunately, my gameplay is going to be pretty bad. But I did my best to explore as much of the world as I could, and I played for around 20 minutes. Now, right off in the starting area, we can see the frame rate tanking pretty hard. It tries to hit 30 FPS, and it stays around there, but it can get as low as 22 frames per second from what I could count. From here, I ran across a bridge, and per the script of the game, I died to a massive boss. From here, I woke up in a massive cave, took a lift on an elevator, and opened up a big door, and suddenly I was in the overworld of Limgrave. And it's here that, surprisingly, the visuals seem to fare a lot better. And as someone who's never played Elden Ring, I got used to the visuals really quick. You do still have some dips here and there in the frame rate, but for the most part, from what I could count, it seemed to hit a pretty solid 30 FPS. One of my biggest takeaways from the demo I played is how shockingly detailed the environments actually are. When exploring a dungeon, for example, I was able to look down a corridor and see a torch flickering in the distance, illuminating the wall, the bricks that it leaned upon, and that wall looked crisp. I was told that this tarnished edition for Switch 2 is still in development, and that FromSoft is working with a secondary team, a different company, to bring Elden Ring to Switch 2. They wouldn't tell me who that is, but regardless, it has me thinking that the team still has a lot of work to do in regards to optimizing the game, and they're still trying to figure out how much detail they can get away with before the frames start to take a hit. It's interesting to me too to see how in a game like Chronos running on Switch 2, when flames come into play, the frame rate tanks, but in Elden Ring on Switch 2, the flames don't hinder the performance at all. And I think this is a really good example of how optimization can come into play. When I explored Limgrave, I still noticed a little bit of pop-in in the environments, in the backgrounds, but they're still really fleshed out otherwise, especially when compared to the environments of something like Breath of the Wild or Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which of course were running on Switch 1, but it's nice to see so far that FromSoft isn't trying to rip apart Elden Ring just to get it to run on Switch 2. Here you see the sun is shining down brightly, there's lush plant life aplenty and tall trees and castles towering off in the distance. We also dug around in the settings for Elden Ring on Switch 2 and couldn't find a performance mode or any way to really adjust the visuals beyond an HDR setting, which I didn't realize was clickable until I got home and started editing this video. I'm assuming that's just more for color balancing, but maybe there will be some performance options in there. And it's truly not out of the question to see a performance option on Switch 2 either, as the latest Hitman game, World of Assassination, just recently released an update that adds a frame rate option into the settings. Now, there are of course two ways to look at this scenario. One is to be frustrated that Elden Ring isn't running better. When Elden Ring first launched on other platforms, it received many Game of the Year awards and even just nominations. So bringing it to Switch 2, you'd hope that the performance could bring you a solid and enjoyable experience. But on the other hand, this is not the final build of the game. At least that's what Bandai Namco is telling us. Maybe that's why we still don't have a release date. As of right now, Elden Ring Tarnished Edition on Switch 2 just has a vague 2025 release window. And over the past few weeks, anyone that's played Elden Ring is basically dogging on it. And that news is getting shared ad nauseum all over the internet. There's no way that Bandai Namco hasn't seen this news and hasn't heard the words from the community. And we'd like to imagine that there's no way that Bandai Namco would want to release this Game of the Year nominee in such an unplayable state for many players. So hopefully, after a few more weeks or months of fiddling with the knobs, they managed to get this release fine-tuned for Switch 2. So let us know what you think of the footage that we've shared of Elden Ring running on Switch 2 so far. And you know what? I'm only a little ashamed of my deaths in Elden Ring, so here's more of the footage that I managed to capture. I hope you find all of my efforts useful.
You can log on by clicking the right analog.
Are you played Elden Ring? Is that a joke? Yep. Was that the person that killed him before?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'll run away from that one still. Oh shoot. Okay, damn. I learned a lesson. As you said, have you played Elden Ring? Basically. Yeah. Thank you.
What'd you think?
Ask what you thought.
What'd you think? How was it?
The frame rate's a little off. That's really the only problem. It looks really good.
You've played a lot.
It's a little jittery. I think that's really the thing. The good thing is that it's at least consistent. It's not irregular. Because I played the Steam Deck one, and it did have a lot of dips, but it was a lot more all over the place. This is a little easier to get used to because it's just kind of consistent, but something about the frame pacing or something. There's a strange jitter to it. It's not. It doesn't seem. It doesn't necessarily just seem like a low frame rate. It seems like frame pacing, or every couple of frames there's an off one or something. So I don't know if that's the sort of thing that can fix before launch, but it is unfortunate because otherwise it's great. And I love the idea of playing more handheld Elden Ring.
I think I was expecting less detail, even in the background, the flames.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I am indeed. This is one of my favorite games ever.